Hello guys and welcome to my new video. Today I'm going to be doing an analysis of best Resto Druid tools that are available out there that can help you determine what stats are the best for you, what pieces of gear are an upgrade, and basically determine what is the most optimized for you to use in a specific fight or basically overall. So there's actually, I would say, there's about three really good tools that are available. Torty Spreadsheet, Twig It, then there is Resto Druid Stat Weights by Leaf, which is a weak core, and then there's also Resto Druid Legendary Analyser, which basically gives you a rough idea of what is the best legendary per fight, and you can actually check your logs, and you can input the log report ID, and it'll tell you how much healing your 4 set gave you and how much healing your legendaries gave you on that specific fight. So I first wanted to show you just how to use Torty's Twig It Spreadsheet. So the first thing that you should actually do is download Twig It by Torty Spreadsheet, an XLS file. You need to actually have it locally in your machine, just because in order to actually edit the fields you need to have it saved somewhere in your computer. And then you just have to open any program that actually opens XLS files. You can find multiple things online that open XLS files as well. You can just drag, like I found online Excel viewer that can basically just let me view the file online without having to have any kind of software for this. And that's actually quite very easy. I just open it here so you can actually see everything with the camera, and I just wanted to do a little overview of what exactly is involved. So it's pretty basic. There are instructions which tell you everything that you need to fill in and things like that. You should read about it, exactly what does Mastery 1 and Mastery 2 mean and things like that. But the basic thing is that you should input intellect, stamina, crit, haste, mastery, versatility from your armory page. So you just go to your armory page like I did here, and just view your crit, and you can just hover your mouse and you can see the critical strike. I have 5,739 critical strike, and I have 24% haste, which is 8,875. so I have 8,875 haste. I just go here and I enter 8,875 haste, and therefore I get 23.67%. and you just basically do everything, all of these stats from your armory. Make sure you log out in Resto spec, and that's quite easy. Then you have the spell usage percentage and total. So what Torty does here is basically lets you, he assumes what kind of spells you use during the fight. So he has two scenarios for a fight where there is he assumes that there's 37% of tier P's 2P's uptime, so basically 4,000 mastery. He assumes that you get about 26% of rejuvenation. Rejuvenation does 26% of your total healing, while growth does 14 here. Those are both a very similar spell uptimes and spell healing breakdowns. If you really want to actually fill in exactly how you heal, you just go to your Warcraft logs. You pick out any fight. In here I have Scorpion Mythic, and you can just go into your logs and you can see that my rejuvenation actually does 34%, and Twig It assumes that it only does 26. So you can just hover over the spell that you want to change and just add 34%. So that means now my fight 1 scenario presumes that my rejuvenation did 34% of healing. Then you have the consumable tab where you can choose the kind of food that you want. I chose 500, which is the intellect piece released in 7.2. You can do that as well. I don't have a troll. I don't have the troll one, so I'll just enter nothing. Oh, it's Night Elf Haste. It assumed that I have the Night Elf Haste. Okay, that's fine. Because the Night Elves also change from Haste to Crit. I'll just go with Haste. And then you have the artifact traits. I think I have 44 traits or something available. I know that I definitely have 4 in Persistence. So you just go here and just click 4. I know that I definitely have Knowledge of the Ancients 4 as well. So that's a mana increase as well. And then you can assume your weapon item level. I think mine is 928. And then you can go to set bonuses. I have set bonuses, so I just select yes, like I already have selected here before. Then you can do procs for your trinkets. I'm not going to do that more for the thing. I just chose the legends that I have, so Predas and Tearstone of Balloon. And then you get your stat weight. So this is stat weights for your total and no trank. The no trank stat weights is assuming that the trank is not involved. I would use this probably for raid scenarios and things like that. But this is the general stat weights that you can see here. So is this an upgrade? You can see that intellect is 1. You can see that for me that crit is actually better than intellect at the moment. Mainly because crit is quite low. I only have 17%, at least in this scenario. Haste is a little bit better than my intellect. Mastery is a little bit better. And versatility is a little bit better. This basically shows you that for Resto Druids, a lot of the stats are very, very equal or very close to each other. But you can also see that in here you have Mastery 1 and Mastery 2. Mastery 2 in each of the scenarios becomes huge increase, way better than everything else. And that's just because it assumes that there's 2 hots on the target. So the minute you have 2 hots on the target, Mastery becomes a lot better than anything else. I would disregard the HBCT. And yeah, but the point is, Mastery is really good once you can have more than 2 hots on them. And then if you want to see if the item is an upgrade, you just type in, let's say you have a ring that gives you 1000, not a ring, you can't get it. You say you have a chess piece that gives you 1500 intellect, it gives you 1000 stamina, it gives you 700 crit, and it gives you 700 mastery. We can actually, and then you can put in the new piece upgrade. And this will basically add up and tell you whether it's an upgrade, yes or no. So that's just one way of doing it. The best one way of doing it to see if it's an upgrade. I would, I don't know if I would have the patience to do it for every single one piece upgrade. I would just take these stat weights and put them in pawn add-on. Which I have available, which is basically an easy add-on, just basically will tell you in game whether it's an upgrade or not. That's one way of doing it. So the other thing besides this is you can check out the trinkets, and the trinket tab is very juicy. So for me, actually, fluctuating energy is calculated as very, very good trinket, but fluctuating energy is basically a mana regen trinket. It's probably assuming that I'm running out of mana or something along those lines, so I disregard this, but everything else seems to be correct. Arcana Crystal, 860 Arcana Crystal is worth about, if you can see a little icon there, is 3600, and it's 8 Arcana Crystal 860 is actually better than any of the stat sticks around 910, 915. So a 910 stat stick is worse than an 860 Arcana Crystal. And then if you scroll down, you can actually see if you have the map. You can, I have a 915 or 910 map. So I can see that 910 map is worth around, I think it's still calculating, there you go. It's worth around 3649. And that's actually assuming there's actually a socket there. Oops. So it's worth around 3481, and Arcana Crystal is worth about 3600. So a 910 map is actually still worse than an Arcana Crystal. Arcana 2 OP at the moment. So you can actually use this just to gauge how much of an upgrade trinket is and how much of an upgrade every other piece is. And like I said, take in the stat weights and put them into your pawn, and that's an easy little solution. A second thing that I wanted to show to you is Restoration Druid Legendary Analyzer. So all of these links are in the description, like I mentioned before. So this thing is, I actually discovered quite recently. The thing they need to do for this is the first thing you have to do is find your Warcraft log fight that you really want to see how good your legendary is doing, and just get the ID without the hashtag. I'll zoom in on the video just for you to see a bit better. You don't need a hashtag, and you just enter it in the very top corner, in the very top of the page, and then get fight, and you select the fight. And in my case, I chose Mythic Scorpion Kill, which was only 2 minutes and 28 seconds. And then it'll actually calculate basically the breakpoint of how well your legendaries and your Forset did. So the Forset goes under the garb of the Astral Warden, obviously my Tear Stone, and it also calculates Deep Rooted. It does not calculate here Predas, because Predas will actually be shown in your healing meters, or at least the shield will be shown in your healing meters. But once this thing is done, you will be able to see and compare how much my Tear Stone did. So my Tear Stone is at around 7% here. What I can do next week is basically I can go on Scorpion and say use the trinket or use something else. It actually calculates trinkets as well. Use something else and see if my trinket did more than the Tear Stone, or my shoulders did more than the Tear Stone. Tear Stone did 7, my Forset did 6. This, I'm presuming, is not calculating the 2-piece, it's only calculating the 4-piece. So this is another really nice tool to consider using if you want to compare how good your legendary is. And the last tool, I mentioned this quite a few times before, is Resto Druid Stat Weights, which is very easy to install. You just need to have a weak aura add-on, and then it'll give you this basically info sheet. This info sheet will change based on any fight that you do, and for any fight that you're currently doing, let's say you're progressing on Mythic Gul'dan or Mythic Elisand, and after each wipe it'll show you how good int, crit, haste, mastery and versatility are. RDSW total is basically sums up all of the fights that you did in Nighthold. So you cleared, let's say, 8 bosses in Nighthold, and then at the end of the day it'll show you what is the total, how good are the total values. So let's say on Scorpion mastery was really good because you're using Spring Blossoms, but then on let's say another, or Trilliax, you're using Inner Peace and Tranquility, so mastery was really poor. And then this will take in those both fights into account. They'll give you a total value, which I don't actually use at all. Keep in mind that anytime you actually reload your UI, this will disappear. This is only per reload. I actually don't use the current one because I want to know I kind of know exactly what the stats good for each boss. But for you, you should really pay attention to the current weights and change your gear according per fight basis. This is another really good tool, and you can actually use these stats as well. Like I said, you can go into pawn, you can go into your into any of the profiles that you have, Resto Raid, and then just maybe change your values to what you feel is the most balanced values for all of the fights. So these are one of the best tools that you can actually get to gauge what was an upgrade. Like I said, with pawn, you can actually see if an item is an upgrade for you or not. You can see if it's for Guardian. Like I have 3 different specs and things like that, so it helps for your off specs as well. These are 3 really good tools. All the props go out to the authors. They did a really amazing job. They really help out the Resto Druid community. I just hope this little video helps you to get a better understanding of it. My hopes are basically that if you never knew about these tools and you watch this video, now you know, great. That's amazing, because it will only help you to get better and to heal more in your raid. And thank you for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you next time.